We're going to talk about intellectual property. And the first thing you should know about intellectual property is that when we talk about property and ownership, there are two main categories. So one category is intellectual property, and the other category is real property, right? I can't type. Real property. Property. And intellectual property versus real property. So what's the difference? Well, real property is anything which is real. It's tangible. So anything that I could get my hands on, right? Paper, flash drive, anything that I could physically touch is real property. That's why, you know, when we talk about land ownership, we call it real estate. It's real property. And so that's real property. And intellectual property is everything that you can't physically grab. Intellectual property is everything you can't physically grab. So this is the concept that ideas have value. Ideas have value. And indeed, if you think about it, yes, ideas do have value. And so what are some of the ideas that are out there which, you know, which have value? Well, you could have like the knowledge of how to create a new kind of bomb, right? And that would have a lot of value. Like the atomic bomb, maybe you know how to do cold fusion and you understand how to create cold fusion. Well, that has a lot of value because you're going to create a new energy source for everybody. Or whatever it is, the better mousetrap, a screenplay, a story, a song, software code, right? Like software code is the value is its ideas, how they're laid out. And yeah, here is the code, right? And you could print the code on a piece of paper, but the real value isn't the ink on the page. The real value is how that code runs, you know, what it expresses. Just like the real value of a song, if you're to print the song or put it onto a CD, the real value isn't the CD or it's not the ink on the page if it's printed. The real value is, you know, how does it sound when you sing it and when you play it? Or what's the movie like, right? You know, when you watch it. So somebody could own a movie. So we have three categories of intellectual property. We have copyrights, we have trademarks, and we have patents. Copyrights, trademarks, and patents. And the first one we'll look at is a copyright. And a copyright, anything you say, anything you create, you automatically own the copyright to that. I'm just pausing here for a second because I'm like, do I want to talk about each of these individually? Okay, I'm not going to talk about them individually. I am going to talk about them individually. I mean, copyrights, trademarks, and patents. I want to do a video for each of them. Otherwise, this video might get a little bit too long. So the first introduction is just this distinction between intellectual property versus real property and this concept that we can own ideas. And those ideas could be things like trademarks, right? Because we have three categories of intellectual property. You have copyrights, trademarks, patents. They could be trademarks or they could be copyrights, right? A copyright would be, you know, for like a written work or for software or anything like that. So here's trademarks. Copyright is basically everything that's not a patent or a trademark. And a patent is like some sort of process or an invention, and you're saying, I own this invention. That would be a patent, right? So it'd be like, here are the schematics, the architectural diagrams, the CAD drawings, whatever, and that'd be for a patent. So intellectual property versus real property, understanding that difference, and then understanding that there's three categories of intellectual property: copyrights, trademarks, and patents. And we'll look at these individually in not the next video, but pretty soon.